Okay, good morning, everyone. Now we are recording, and I'm going to go over today's agenda. So we're going to review Monday's discussion. So we had a couple of good discussions on Monday, and we'll pick up where we left off. And then we're going to continue with the Vicki Shannon Allen story. She was the Amazon worker who hurt her back and was trying to get compensation. She couldn't, and she became homeless. We're going to continue with her story. Bless you. We're going to continue with her story today. Then we're going to go into the textbook. And I think everyone here finished the worksheet, but we're going to use the same reading for our discussion. And I've got another Amazon related activity, listening. I'm still using the company Amazon, but we can compare several big companies like Meta, Facebook, Apple, Google, to a lot of these historical companies and these figures known as robber barons. So I'm going to still use Amazon as a good activity because they Amazon is most relevant in terms of labor dispute. Labor means the workers, the dispute with the workers, because they have the poorest track record with labor relations. Then I'm going to introduce homework. So that's it. And the homework is going to be a writing exercise, but I will keep you busy. So here's what we did last class. I'm going to we went over this exercise and we talked about what makes a company a good company last week. Does anybody remember what some of the examples students came up with?
Yes.
Can you give us a few?
Environment.
There you go. Do they care about the environment?
Yeah. Development.
Do they provide a good service to their customers? Do they take care of their employees? These things. So that was where we began our discussion last week. And I also introduced this concept. Who remembers this from last time? Corporate. Does everybody remember the word corporate? Not cooperate.
Yeah. Corporate.
Who can give me the definite what this is? Corporate or corporation. I'll take a look at the Marie, Natalia, Faride. Who remembers that?
These are big companies
or
joints.
Yes. Big companies, publicly traded. So remember, I showed everyone. We learned the word stock from the vocabulary. What is stock? S-T-O-C-K.
A share of the company or a portion of the company. That's
excellent. Tatiana's on fire today. Yes. Very good. So yes. So shares of a company, portions of a company. Now, the concept of image and branding. Do you remember when I was focusing on the word image? Who could give me examples of how companies can maintain a good corporate image? This is a review of last class. Somebody who was here, Gerson, Natalia Tavares. Who could give me an example of image, corporate image?
Is a good service.
Not just good service, but remember what image means?
Teacher, represent the corporation.
Well, what is an image? So I'm going over the specific words from last class that we did.
Representation.
Representation is similar, but essentially it's not representation, but reputation. Reputation.
Reputation, yes.
Yeah, does a company have a good reputation? Is it a good, when people think about the company, remember we used examples of Walmart. Great place to buy cheap stuff, not the best place to spend your career working. So that's the image of a company. Do people have a positive or negative image? We can think of ourselves as individuals. You want a good image. You want more people to like you than not like you. That's essentially the idea behind image, corporate image. And that's exactly what the lesson was on Monday. So that's enough reviewing of what we went over Monday. Now I'm going to ask somebody else who could describe what happened to Vicky Sharon Allen, who was here on Monday. Erica, can you describe what happened to her?
She used to work for Walmart.
Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Amazon, sorry.
Yes.
And I remember that she said that she used to work many hours and with for a few money and many times, and I don't remember if she has an accident and a problem with her health.
She did, yes. Who can pick up where Erica left off? What happened to Vicky? I'm gonna call someone else who was here. Handy, do you remember what happened to Vicky? I'm gonna write the question. What happened to Vicky? And then whoever remembers, do the hand raising emoji. What happened to Vicky? Tatiana, yes.
She had an injury.
Yes, there we go. That's the word. That's the word you were looking for, Erica. Yes, she had an injury. Beautiful. Who remembers what injury? You can look at me. I'm going to give you a hint. What am I touching?
Back.
She injured her back. And what happened after she, yes, what happened after she injured her back at Amazon?
The Amazon wanted to pay $3,500. I think so.
Okay, you're remembering a number. The number is right. Did they pay her or did they want to pay her?
Wanted, but she didn't accept.
Yes, excellent job, Tatiana. Yes, and remember that word that Amazon that I introduced?
Shut up.
Hush. Hush. Who remembers this?
Hush money?
Hush money.
Hush money.
Yeah, hush money. Who remembers this concept of hush money?
Yeah, money to be quiet.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful job, Tatiana. So everybody can give Tatiana the thumbs up. Excellent. You're remembering all those tough vocab words. So I'm going to go over this right now. This is exactly where we finished class on Monday. So Vicky Sharon Allen hurt her back. We went over these two questions, and this is what I ask everyone at the end of class. Why did Vicky Shannon Allen choose not to take the hush money from Amazon? Why not? And you, Tatiana, you have a great memory. You remember the amount of money. Why didn't she just take it and go? Who remembers her situation?
Because it was unfair because maybe she didn't found another job and it was less money than she deserved.
Well, there was more to her story. When I say her situation, where was she living?
In a car.
Right, she was living in her car. Why was she living in her car?
Because she didn't have money to pay rent.
Exactly. Now, I think, who was it that was about to join in? Because Tatiana's answering all the questions. So why didn't she have money to pay her rent?
Because she can't work.
Because she couldn't work. She hurt her back. She couldn't work. She couldn't make money. Amazon wouldn't pay her what's called compensation because she was injured at work. Exactly, Tatiana's got it. So she hurts her back in one of these warehouses. Amazon will not pay her compensation. She cannot show up to work, so she cannot pay her rent. So she's living in her car. She tells the story, becomes famous on the news, and Amazon says, here's some money, be quiet. That's called hush money. Now, the question I asked everybody last week, why wouldn't she just take the money? And a lot of people said, that's nothing. That's not enough. Those bills from the hospital are very high. Let's continue with her story. Who remembers what Dave Clark of Amazon had to say about Alan's situation? Who remembers what he said? I'll go over this is a perfect place to pick up where we left off, because this is exactly where we finished class last week. Now, everybody write down this question in your notes. What was Dave Clark's explanation for Sharon's injuries? Or Vicky's injuries, that's her middle name. So everybody write down that question and let me know when you got it.
I got it.
Everybody take your time. Just give me the thumbs up emoji. Give me the emoji with a thumbs up when you got it. Thank you, Tatiana. Glaucian, Garçon, Faride, Natalia, let me know when you got it.
Me, but I don't have emojis, sorry.
All right, so next question, the last question we're going to talk about is, what does Sharon mean when she says by blood, sweat, and tears? We haven't watched this part. This is new. I was saving this for today. What does she mean when she says by blood, sweat, and tears? So write this question down. What does she mean by blood, sweat, and tears? And when you have that question written down, give me the thumbs up emoji like this. Or you could take a screenshot if that's easier. So just give me the thumbs up or the thumbs up emoji when you've got it. Let me know. So Lausian, Faride, Garcon, Natalia, Erica, let me know when you got it.
Got it, teacher.
Got it. Thank
Got
you,
it.
Garcon. Excellent, excellent, beautiful. All right, so now we're going to watch the interview again. Here we go.
Inside this fulfillment center outside Dallas, the focus is Amazon's signature speed, efficiency, and
Go to full screen.
inside this fulfillment center outside Dallas, the focus is Amazon's signature speed, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. But Amazon employee Vicki Shannon Allen says Amazon's work demands are ruining her life.
It's been the ultimate nightmare.
Allen says she processed an average of 600 items an hour on the job here at a broken workstation that injured her back.
It felt like somebody stabbed me in the back and drug a knife all the way down.
Allen showed us documents and claims Amazon attempted to minimize her injury by not sending her to a doctor for weeks and not paying her during the dispute over her workers' compensation claim. Now she's homeless, sleeping in her car, often in the Amazon parking lot.
So you're sleeping right in here.
Allen is not alone. This year, Amazon, which has over 175 fulfillment centers around the world and more than 500,000 employees, was ranked one of the 12 worst companies to work for by the National Center for Occupational Safety and Health, a nonprofit that advocates for worker health and safety. As by far the largest online retailer for Americans, Amazon's record is difficult to compare to other major brands. This summer, people protested against Amazon worker conditions and wages in New Jersey and Spain. In Minnesota, 3 current and former Amazon employees spoke out to NBC News, alleging injuries on the job. Allen says Amazon offered to pay her $3,500 if she agreed not to discuss her experience and to absolve the company of any
So that was the
responsibility.
first question. So first, they would not pay her. They did not want her to go to the doctor. And then this is the hush money.
Allen says Amazon offered to pay her $3,500 if she agreed not to discuss her experience and to absolve the company of any
So-
responsibility.
The second question that was started last week is, why did she not take the money? Let's stop right here and talk. I'm going to open up. You're going to see a little black kind of rectangle on the side of the screen when I open up the video panel so I can see everyone. Why would she not take the money? This is one of the last ways we ended
Because-
class. Yeah.
Because the money is
lot of
not
money.
enough for the medical assistance that she
Yeah.
needs.
Not
Mhm.
enough money. Tavares, what were you going to say?
Because it's lost money. Is not enough.
Yeah,
to
it's
pay
very
the-
little. Yeah, for what she's experiencing, that's not going to do much. Gerson, what were you thinking?
Yeah, teacher, she have a lot of bills like medical bills and
Mhm.
plus the her bills, so 3,500. Not even pay like appointment with the doctor, and you know
Mhm,
like
exactly.
all the stuff, and plus the rent and how long she gotta go out to the job. I mean, sometimes when it's in the
Exactly.
back or in the body, it take like 2 to 3 months. Like not even pay like a month of the rent.
Exactly. Now, this is when I brought back the word image. Image. So when you see a report like this, what does this do for the image of a company like Amazon?
Bad image.
It gives a very bad image. So people watching a report like this will say, wow, that's horrible. They might say, you know what? I'm going to open up my phone right now. I'm going to my Prime account. I'm canceling my Prime subscription. I'm deleting the app. I don't care. I'll wait however many days it takes to get a package. That's wrong. So when a company, a big company, gets a bad image, What do? Now, use your business brain. If your company has a bad image because of something like this, what do you need to do to help repair that image? What would you do?
You got it.
Good
You got it.
speech.
You got it too. Go ahead.
Yeah, Garcon and then Tatiana.
You gotta do like pick it up the image, you know? Like
Garcon, then Tatiana, go for it.
yeah, I say they gotta pick it up the image, like put like discounts and bring all the people there.
Okay, so lower. Okay, hey everybody, Prime membership is only this much a month. Everybody, something like that. Okay, Tatiana, what were you thinking?
I think that the company had to defend and to speak better of the company and refute things that are happening.
She said defend and refute it. That means the company has to respond in some way, and that's what happens right here. So
Yes.
we hear, now we're going to hear the Amazon side of the story. Here we go.
It's not worth me giving up my First Amendment right to be able to speak about what's happened to me at Amazon.
Vicki Shannon Allen is one of about 2,500 employees that work at this fulfillment center. When we put these allegations to Amazon, they opened their doors so we could have a look. Amazon staff escorted us through the facility and calls Allen's situation unfortunate. It's offered her medical treatment and more recently spending money, along with a new, less physically demanding job.
The workstation that she was working on did have a component missing that day. And when she found it and reported it, we immediately fixed it.
Senior Vice President Dave Clark oversees fulfillment center operations worldwide.
We have hundreds of thousands of employees working tens of millions of hours every year across the network. And the overwhelming majority of those are safe hours where people come in and do great work for customers.
That was where I stopped video last week. What was Dave Clark's response? One detail that the reporter said, I don't know if anybody caught it. They offered to give her a different job where she didn't have to be on her feet as long, less physically demanding. They offered to give her a little bit more money and just bring her back. So they're not doing nothing, but the idea is they need to repair that image. So the question is, what was this guy? It's his job to repair that image. Dave Clark, what was his response? He's an Amazon representative. His response to Vicki's situation was what? Let's hear from somebody new. Glausen, would you like to take this question?
Can you repeat the question?
Well, the question is, it's what I put on the slide. Remember, everybody wrote the question down. Everybody, I said, write the question down. That was the second question. That was the first question.
Yes, teacher. The question is, what was Dave Clark's explanation for Sharon's injury?
Excellent. Excellent. So that's the reason I ask everybody to write the question down. That's why I was waiting till everybody responded like this. Okay. So Erica, would you like to answer that question?
Teacher, I understood that he say that they has 1,000 millions of employees in 1,000 of hours in the around the world, and
yes.
I don't understand very good, but he say that if somebody is wrong, they can report. They do like a report, but just he say that it's 1,000 of employees, and I don't know.
Exactly. Now, why would he say that? Why would he say, listen, we've got thousands of employees in hundreds of locations around the world. And most of them are, why would he say that in response to Vicky? If you only look at Vicky's situation, the company's image is very bad. But his job is to make the company look good. So his response is this.
What is the company?
We could have a look. Amazon staff escorted us through the facility and calls Alan's situation unfortunate. It's offered her medical treatment and more recently spending money, along with a new, less physically demanding job.
The workstation that she was working on did have a component missing that day. And when she found it and reported it, we immediately fixed it.
Senior Vice President Dave Clark oversees fulfillment center operations worldwide.
We have hundreds of thousands of employees working tens of millions of hours every year across the network. And the overwhelming majority of those are safe hours where people come in, do great work for customers.
He said the majority of people are working safely. So when you listen to him, what does that do for the company's image? This guy, Dave Clark.
Like good
Once you listen to him, yes, Garzon's got it. If you listen to him, he's giving the company a very good image. That's his job. A guy like that will get paid a lot of money to give the company a good image.
Yeah. He wanted to do good image, but
Advocacy
he
for the
wanted to pay
money.
more than $4,500 to her.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
is
know?
the company?
Handy, what were you thinking?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I think he's an advocate on the company. He has to share a good image about the company.
Right, exactly. Now, the last question, what does she mean by blood, sweat, and tears? That was the last question I asked everybody to write down, and here it comes. What? Sorry, blinking there. So this very last part, she says, this is my blood, sweat, and tears. What does she mean?
Obama administration strongly disagrees. Dr. David Michaels issued this warning letter to Amazon in 2016, critical of the in-house service providing medical care at fulfillment centers. Letters like these are rare, and other companies have received them.
In fact, we actually...
A little delay here with the connection, sorry.
Issued a letter of warning to Amazon because they really made some terrible mistakes, and people who were very seriously hurt were treated very poorly.
Amazon responded saying it disagrees with OSHA's conclusions and recommended changes. Allen says she has not accepted a new position because her back injury
So she was offered a new
keeps her off the
position. She
job.
says, I will not take the position. My back injury, my doctor says I should not return to work.
On doctor's order.
And then the last comment comes in here.
Amazon continues to provide her with medical treatment, but she now raises money on her GoFundMe page to pay for an occasional night at a motel.
What should a customer know out there when they're clicking to buy something to have it delivered to their home?
They should know that that's our blood, sweat, and tears.
So that was it. She
That's
said,
going into that.
the question from the reporter is,
That's our blood.
oh, I'm sorry. What should a customer know when they click for a package at Amazon? And then she says, they should know that's our blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
So here is the last question from the reporter. Now, whoops. Well, anyway, I'm having a connection problem there, so the video is not playing quite well, but we can keep going. Now, here's a quick question. for everyone. I'm going to introduce the homework now. The homework is based on government and business. You've read about the robber barons, John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and this the last two lessons I'm comparing big companies from the past and present. So if we look at a company like Amazon, wildly successful, Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, is the CEO of Amazon. How did he get rich? Sacrificing a lot of people. So we can, from the reading that I'm holding up right here, can you make some comparisons to these guys? Or the cartoon behind me? If I look at a company like Amazon today, can you compare it to some of the companies you read about in the chapter?
It's something similar, teacher. It's similar today.
Yeah.
With
very similar. Yeah. And does everybody remember this cartoon behind me that I showed everybody last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the people at the top are sacrificing a lot of the people at the bottom. Now, here is a question for your homework assignment. For next week, I want everybody to write a question, write in 60 to 80 words, make an argument answering this question. How much should government regulate business? And use examples from the reading and class discussion. What we're talking about now is class discussion. So if a company like Amazon becomes very successful, but sacrifices people, should government regulate it? Tavares, I'm going to send, you have experience working in government. So if you don't mind, I'm going to send this question to you. Should government regulate business? Regulate means make rules.
Sometimes.
Control in some way. Sometimes. All right. Can you give me I'm actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to give everybody a minute. Tavares will be the first person to answer the question, but I want everybody to think for a minute. Think and come up with your own answer. Should government regulate business? And if so, how much? That's the question for the homework. Should government make rules? If a company is hurting people, is it the government's job to step in there? Yes or no? Should government have a hands-off approach, not regulate business, or should government have a very strong control of business? This is exactly what you can and cannot do.
How much government regulate the business?
That's the question.
99% they regulate all the business in the country.
Well, take a minute. I want everybody to think for a minute. Just think for a minute. How much? Because if you want to start a business, if government has a lot of regulation, is it easier or harder to start a business? When government makes more rules, it's harder to start a business. So business, of course, wants more freedom. But when is it necessary for government to step in there and make rules? Here is what you can, hey business, this is what you can and cannot do in this country, in this territory, whatever. So everybody, that's the question. And I want everybody to think for a minute and then we can share our answers. How much should government regulate business? Okay, that's enough time. Tavares, what do you think?
Teacher, I think government have to regulate business, but it's very difficult because you have the big company, you have a lot of lawyer to stay to see, to form the control about things. If you have the problem with the government, with another company, never time you win. The government win all time. It's too much complicated. I think sometimes the company make the mistake after he pay. He compensates this. But you have to regulate. But I think it's not ethical because you need to stay all time in fight with the company. The company make mistake, stay. It's wrong, but you do mistake because you have the capacity to pay. You know, the capacity to pay. The company win more money than you pay you if you have the do wrong. I think it's this.
Right, that's a good start for the conversation, Tavares. Thank you. Gerson, what do you think?
Me, teacher.
Erica, yes.
Teacher, I think that these big companies are very smart. The government has many regulations for the companies, and I think one of the thing that they do is they hire a small company for get people for like small companies for staffing for get people. So that small companies, Amazon, for example, pay the small companies, and that small companies pay the people for work in a Amazon house films.
Oh, they call their warehouses. They call them fulfillment centers.
Fulfillment centers, yeah.
Yeah,
so
they're warehouses. That's a nice word to call
so
a
I
warehouse.
think they very smart because they for Amazon work that small companies, and for the small companies the people work, and they get people who has many like immigrants, like people with a lot of problem, and people who need work.
Or somebody like Sharon, the woman in the video.
Yes, yeah. So maybe she doesn't work for Amazon directly. Maybe for a small company, the staff company. So that could be a way for evade the government regulators.
All right. Now I'm going to switch to the reading that I gave everybody for homework. So I am changing my background here to a blank background, and now also moving the camera to the document camera. Here we go. So document camera time. All right. Robber barons. So this is an excerpt of The People's History of the United States, written by the late, great Howard Zinn. And I think right now I'm going to ask everybody, let's see. Okay, never mind. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of reading of this together. And then I'm going to give everyone a question for breakout rooms to wrap up the class. So we have these robber barons, J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, and Andrew Carnegie. Very similar situations to people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk today. Do we have a volunteer to read the first paragraph? Tavares, go for it. J.P. Morgan. I'm gonna bring that a little closer. All right. All right, can everybody see clearly, those who don't have the book?
Teacher, me.
You can see clearly?
Yes.
Great.
J.P. Morgan.
Oh, wait, Tavares said he volunteered first.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's okay. You know what? You take the second paragraph. Natalia, you'll take the second one. Go for it. Okay. All right, Tavares, you go. You can read first. J.P. Morgan? Oh, you're muted, Tavares.
Natalia, please, the ladies first.
Okay, Natalia, go for it. What a gentleman.
Thank you. J.P. Morgan started his career before the Civil War as the son of a banker who began selling stock for the railroad for good commissions. During the Civil War, he bought 5,000
rifles
for
$3.50 each
from an army arsenal, and sold them to general in the field for 22 each. The rifles were detective and would shoot off the thumbs of the soldiers, using them. A congressional committee noted this in the small print of an obscure report, but a federal judge upheld the deal as the fulfillment of a valid legal contract.
All right, so this is a good example of that question. How did J.P. Morgan start making a lot of money? He was selling weapons. But what was the problem? They were defective. There's the word defective, which means these guns don't work. So soldiers are on the battlefield are losing their thumbs. I'm going to show you my thumb. So I use one of these weapons sold by J.P. Morgan on the battlefield. I have no thumb. Bye-bye. My thumb is gone. There's my hand without a thumb. Okay. Oh, magic. I brought it back. Sorry, I was having fun there. So now we have an issue of government regulating business. So I'm putting right here, government and business. So there it is. Of course, this is one man, J.P. Morgan, selling weapons to the U.S. Army during a war. He's getting a lot of money, but these weapons don't work. Soldiers are getting hurt. What happens to this guy? Is he punished?
No.
Oh, there you go. So there is a situation where would we say government is regulating business or not? I think Hendy, I think you're muted. Were you about to say something?
Not teacher.
Yeah. So this guy, so the winner in this case is business. The winner is business. All right. Who wants to read paragraph 2, was that Tavares?
Yes, thank
All
you,
right.
teacher. Morgan and had escaped military service in the Civil War by paying $300 to a
$300.
$300 to a substitute. So did another wealthy businessman like John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, Philip Arnold, and Jay Gould, and James Mellon. Mellon's fathers right to dream that a man may be a patriotic with risking his own life or sacrificing his health. There are plenty of lives less valued.
Right. So that's something that a lot of these guys have in common. The richest Americans of this period got away with not fighting in the Civil War. They would pay there was a draft, which meant every able-bodied man was subject to service, except if people had the money, they could pay someone to go fight for them. So that's what a lot of these guys had in common. And we could look at the situation in the Ukraine right now. Right now, men who are old enough to fight are not allowed to leave the Ukraine because of their situation. So very often when there is a war, people who have money can dodge the bullet, literally dodge military service. Who wants to read number 3?
Me, teacher.
Okay. Oh, 3 hands went up at the same time. We'll go like that. We'll start with Glaucian, and then we'll go to Marie Lombard. Here we go. Glaucian.
Okay. While making his fortune, Morgan brought rationality in the organization to the national economy. He kept the system stable. He said, "We do not want financial convulsions and have one thing one day and another thing another day." He linked railroads to one another, all of them to banks, and the banks to insurance companies. By 1900s, he controlled
100,000 miles.
100,000 miles of railroad, half the country's mileage.
Yeah.
Mileage.
Right. So this guy would eventually own a huge share of the country's railroads. All right. Here is John D. Rockefeller. All right. Marie Lombard, you can read this next paragraph.
John D. Rockefeller started as a bookkeeper in Cleveland, became a merchant, accumulated money, and decided that in the new industry of oil, whoever controlled the oil refineries controlled the industry. He bought his first oil refinery in
1862.
And by 1870, set up Standard Oil Company of Oil, made secret agreements with railroads to ship his oil with them if they gave him rebates, discounts on their prices, and those drove competitors out of business.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to stop right here because I gave everyone the assignment to read the entire reading. But who remembers what word this is? It starts with an M. It's also a famous board game. When you make it impossible for competition, you have a M-O. Who said it? Who said it?
Tatiana.
Yes, Tatiana. Good job. Ding, ding, ding. Monopoly. Monopoly. Now, at the time these guys were alive, this was legal to create a monopoly. It wasn't until the creation of what's called antitrust laws. Now I'm going to switch back my camera to the screen share here to show you what an antitrust law is. Here we go. All right. All right, and I'm also going to bring back my virtual background. Okay, so an antitrust law, that's the last new bit of vocab that I'm going to give everyone today. This is an antitrust law. So who wants to read what I put on the screen here? Gerson, your hand is up. Or
Yeah, I can go.
anybody? Yeah, go for it.
A law
A law
that prevents companies from working together to control prices unfairly or to create a monopoly, equal a single company or
Oh,
a
I'm sorry,
small,
just lost it.
yeah, equal a single company or small group of companies that is the only supplier of something. Or
I'm sorry.
the area or law that deals with those things.
Good, good, good. So the question, should government regulate business? Since the Sherman Antitrust Act, the creation of antitrust laws, this is the policy. Essentially, if a company is violating antitrust laws, government can create rules to regulate those laws. There are also labor laws like a minimum wage law, workman's compensation. These are laws. There are laws in place, policies that government has in this country to regulate business. However, these are not always enforced, and sometimes there are problems, but there are not laws yet created. For instance, issues of privacy, when we talked about how Facebook's business model, there is nothing in an antitrust law, the existing antitrust law, about sharing information. So now I'm going to put everyone in some breakout rooms to finish the class, but this is the question I want you to discuss in your breakout rooms. How much should government regulate business? We have antitrust laws. Is that enough? Is it too much? That's the question for breakout rooms. Let's see. Not a problem, Tatiana. Okay. I'm going to put everyone into 3 breakout rooms right now to wrap up the class. Here we go. Okay, Handy, Faride, you want to join your breakout room? Thank you. All right, so we're wrapping up those breakout rooms. All right, everybody. So we are wrapping up. I'm going to share my screen to finish the class. So here is the next assignment due Monday, but I want to give everybody enough time to process the question. In 60 to 80 words, make an argument answering this question. How much should the government regulate business? Use examples from the reading and class discussion. Please attach this in a Google Doc so I can give helpful comments. That is it. Any questions? All right. Well, then we'll stop class right here, a little earlier today. And that's it. I'll post the recording, and also you can watch the recording of Monday's class as well if you'd like to review. Okay. Thank you all, everybody, for your hard work, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a great day.